hard to see.
Welcome to Labor's View. This show is brought to you by the very hard-working and dedicated employees of what is now known as the Division of Family Assistance and Benefits in the Essex County, which used to be the Essex County Division of Welfare. I'm David Weiner, president of the local, and this is our union show, Labor's View. Today it's my distinct pleasure to have with us someone whom I've known for some 30 years, and she's still alive. And her name is Ms. Barbara G, as in Gertrude Weiland. And she taught for over 43 years in the city of Newark. Recently retired, co-leader and co-founder of Discovery Charter Schools. You know, I'm not big on charter schools, but we look the other way. And is the founder and executive director of Kids in Business, currently in the Louise A. Spencer Elementary School. And she's doing other things with mentoring kids at the Essex County Detention Center, which I'll let her tell you about. So Barbara, welcome to the show.
David, thank you.
You're quite welcome.
It's a pleasure knowing you for 30 years, David.
Yes, everyone says the same thing with the same attitude. Okay, including my wife. Beyond that, tell us about yourself.
Well, let me start with telling you about how Kids in Business was, a little bit about Kids in Business. Okay,
Fine.
I think that's probably the best place to start.
Okay.
Okay, Kids in Business it's a business with kids, and we teach the children how to run a business, but it's very project oriented. All right. In other words, they make their own products. Okay, and from scratch, and and then after they make the product, from beginning, middle to end, we go to the sales sites throughout Newark, and then 50% of the profits, they decide where the money goes.
The kids do.
The kids, absolutely. And then they kind of have to research where the money goes, and in Newark for Newark charities, and then 25% they save for a rainy day, and the other 25% they reinvest back into the business. And so how this all started was basically I was teaching sedimentary rocks. And this young lady, I think her name was LaTanya, and I was holding up this rock, and probably sandstone, most likely sandstone. She said, can we sell this? And I said, okay. And I just motioned to them to look out the window. And as they were looking out the window, and they were starting to brainstorm, it was like popping popcorn. It was just like they were absolutely alive with all kinds of things. And so you had the recorder writing down all their thoughts. And they said plants and stones and twigs, and really big on coming up with all these kinds of resources from nature. And so all of a sudden I said, okay. So we sat down and I said, what can you do with a stone? And so they said, well, we could paint it, we could do all these kinds of things. So as we got this one little stone, and it was, at first they started and they said, okay, we're just going to paint this stone. And so we walked around with a painted stone. Let me get this one thing and unhook it. But all we did was paint a stone. And they did a market survey, and people said, oh yeah, David, they're going to buy this stone. Well, we learned very quickly that people on a market survey will say, yes, they'll buy anything. And then when it turns out, they won't buy it. So then they went back to the drawing board, and then they added, their kids are much better at this, they added a nose, they added eyes, they added a hair, and now this is one of the little Kids in Business stones right there. It's too cute. David, it looks a little bit like you with hair. Maybe
better.
On a good day. Better?
Better. Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
I look like one of the Pep Boys.
I understand. I understand.
Manny Moore, Jack, take it back.
Right. And then it comes with a bag, and sometimes with a saying, sometimes not. Okay.
Did anybody bring up the pet rock syndrome that happened some 30 years ago. Remember that?
Yeah, but these are kids in business stones. We used to call them.
Oh, there's Effie. Well, that guy's put a rock in a box.
I
People
know.
actually bought it.
Yeah, right. So we look at different kinds of fads, okay? And so this, it didn't come like this. It was a kind of a process. And then we started out with they had plants. And if you look at our stationery collection, what we had was we had a card, just a blank card, and on the card we put a plant, right? We just had like a plant on the card. We pressed the plant and we put just one little leaf on the card, right? One little leaf. Well, obviously, David, it was not a Hallmark card that it was of significant value, or did anybody buy it? So, as you can see, we just got better and better. And
this is beautiful.
yeah. And what we did was the original was printed, and we can make more copies from the original, and then they get stuck on this. Okay? And then there's different other kinds of cards they make with they do fingerprints. There's all kinds of things that they can do, but this is just one example.
All general purpose cards.
All general
Not
purpose
birthday,
cards.
anything, whatever you want.
Yeah. And then they do this, and what's so wonderful about the business is that no matter what skills or challenges the kids may have, every child is gifted and talented. Every child. And that's why kids in business, no matter what kind of skills or challenges you have, every child is successful. And so this card, this bookmark, all right, has several steps, several layers, and they have a little tassel, and then it goes through the laminating machine, and voila, very nicely done.
Now, did these sell?
Yes, they sell.
Okay.
And they're only $1.25. Our bags are $1 they come with our Kids in Business Stone. Our prices have not increased in 30 years, David. This is $1.25, and with a magnet, it's $2.
Yeah, well, it's not an ideal business model, but it certainly keeps the price down for your customers.
The other thing we learned is if kids make it, that's one of the things that, people want to have a little bargain. And our plants, this is a wonderful plant called Janet Craig, and it takes certain pollutants out of the air. And we have plants and hanging baskets all over the city of Newark, and our customers have been fabulous. We've sold at Prudential Mini Mall before they closed that, Blue Cross Blue Shield, PSE&G, CIT, the Newark Library, let's see, where else? Harvest Table. So there are thousands of workers that have collected bookmarks, Kids in Business Stones, and a lot of our products. Now, we are currently at Louise A. Spencer in Newark, and
Elementary school.
yes, it's an elementary school, and we have it in Miss Wardle's class. Wonderful, wonderful teacher and support team she has there. And we have it in Miss Kelly Lyons' class, and wonderful support team there. And the principal is wonderful. Her name is Jennifer Pellegrin, and we just had a sale. There, and we had a great support. They made over $500 in a 2-day, 3-day sale, and which is really great. So our new products are pot holders. Now these are incredible. These are very difficult to make, and
is there a loom?
Yes, there's a loom, and Julian was king of the potholders. He could just knock these out. Takes him about an hour. Now we were selling these at $4. Now they didn't move as quickly. We had a Father's Day sale, okay, and these didn't move as quickly as we thought. So we probably might lower our price, but they took such a long time to make. All right, and then this is, what do you think this is, David? Just guess. What do you think this might be?
An envelope.
That's David.
A small envelope.
Small envelope, but then hold out your hand.
Air.
David, I love you so much,
It's
David.
the invisible man's
I
toenail.
just love you. I so love you, David. It's look at this. Now, what do you think this might be? What do you think this?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Okay. And what could you do with that, David?
Give it to my wife as a present.
Yes. And what could she do with it?
She'll kill me. If this is all I give her.
David, this is true. And this, the kids can
No, it's
buy.
really very nice.
And that's a quarter. Where can you buy anything for
And they cut these out themselves with scissors?
Well, no. This is a
step.
with a punch. With a punch.
Because it's really perfectly done.
Yes. Isn't that great for a quarter?
Yeah?
All right. So where can you buy anything nowadays for a quarter?
Nothing legal.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Okay.
No, would I.
David. Okay, so that's and this is called Kids in Business Card Your Own.
Well, you got a Jewish bag, too. Got the menorah.
Yes?
That's
Oh, yes.
half my heritage.
There we go. Yeah. Try to help everyone here. Yeah. And let's see. Yep. And these are our gift bags. Now that looks a little like you on.
My face is long, yeah. And when I used to have hair.
Yeah.
Only I have green eyes, not brown eyes.
I think so. And then you see this. And then if you wanted, this is a bigger version of Card Your Own.
Ah.
See? Here.
That comes with the bag?
Yes, comes with a bag.
It's a quarter?
No.
Oh.
No, this is the dollar.
That makes sense. This is to hold up the other things?
Yeah.
Oh. You got little beads and buttons.
Yeah, this is for adults.
Are they going to buy something? Manhattan? What are they doing with this?
You can kind of make a little sculpture. This is a bigger version of this.
So they're supposed to string them together?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, you know who's not doing that? Because I have no manual dexterity. But it's a great idea.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's our in-school program. And then one of the things that now Kids in Business is focusing on is juvenile justice. And one of the things that when I retired from the Discovery Charter School, is I've always wanted to do something. And I was very fortunate to come into contact with Essex County Youth Detention Facility?
Yeah, we call it the youth house for short.
Okay.
It's for anyone under 21 years of age.
Yes. And Lisa Weathers, and she is absolutely extraordinary. She's in charge of the mentoring program, the volunteer program, and has an incredible open mind, and the people there, the captains, the sergeant, her staff, and our group of mentors, and then Kids in Business works with the mentoring and with working with kids in business, and one of the things that we work very hard on is financial literacy, David. I mean, the kids really want to know. I mean, as simple as...
That's the time they should learn it.
Yeah. I mean, we go down very low in classes to learn these things. I mean, if I work with autistic children, I mean, we're learning the stock market. We're learning the symbols. You know, we're learning fractions. I mean, there's so many things that we can learn that kids need to know. You need to know that if you're earning $1, that in your young age, that you save 10 cents on every dollar. Mm-hmm. You don't, you know, you can go to your store and get your little whatever you want snack after school, but save 10 cents of it. You know, nobody is doing that. No one is preaching that.
Including adults. I just saw a piece where I think they said 42% of Americans have virtually no savings whatsoever.
That's correct.
And they don't have at all the normally accepted 6-month emergency supply of money where they do run it, you know, get fired or something like that. So
no,
they better learn it at this age, because in this economy, it's
right.
tougher and tougher to earn
Remember,
money.
David, do you remember when it's going to date us? We're going to be dated, but remember when they have in the schools, when they had the banking and you had your little bank book?
Oh, sure. Mount Vernon. I went to Mount Vernon.
Yeah, I mean, that's what needs to come back into the schools. And I think Providence Savings Bank is doing some of that, okay? And I've spoken to them, and I really we need to bring that back. We really, where you have your little bank book, and obviously the interest is low. And may I say, I could champion they should bring that up a little bit. But the fact remains is that you're talking about interest and even teaching. I taught the gentleman at the youth, the Essex County Detention Center, what compound interest is. And it's, I mean, they said, really? I said, yes. And if our kids very early on, you know, just get a couple of investments that are solid and just do compound interest, by the time they're 40 years old, the math is on our side. There can be millionaires. It's not far-fetched. You don't have to play options. You don't have to do some of these risky investments. You know, our kids don't know. They do not know, David. The parents don't know. And if I'm working in Jersey City with another group called Kids in Business with Grandma and Grandpas. It's a pilot, and with financial literacy. And it's a fabulous. It's small, but they love it. And they're starting to save $25 a month. Now we're going to work on $50 a month. And then we're going to start to invest that, you know. And
what do you put it in, generally speaking?
Well, we don't know yet. I don't even want to plug Goldman Sachs, because Goldman Sachs is trying to do something on online banking, but their interest rate is more than the regular.
Well, they cut out the middle people and they fired the bank, the tellers, and.
Well, they didn't fire them.
They fired them. Let them go.
Well,
Banks are going to be completely automated in the future, just like Wendy's is now doing to avoid the minimum wage of $15 an hour. Everything's going to be kiosks. You go up your order, thing gets shooted to you, and
is that right,
yep.
David?
They're doing it in welfare. They just put in 4 or 5 kiosks there for clients to come in and apply there, and they can drop their paperwork. It's not in place yet, but this is what they're doing. So the odd thing is they're moving further and further away from having jobs that people can do here, because many of the other jobs, as you know, you don't have to be here. An outsourced firm can outsource to India, Bangalore, or to to Ireland or the Philippines.
Oh, that was years and years ago.
No, it's still going on. In fact, the Verizon strike that just took place,
Yes.
that involves CDBA members in our national, not my local, but because we don't represent private sector. But they were facing, their CEO wanted to, after they're making a $1.5 billion profit each month, this company. Profit, that's not even gross, that's net profit. And he's getting $40-50 million plus options a year. And they wanted to outsource a bunch of the telephone calls to Philippines. They wanted to make the employees work, especially I think the IBW people, the lines people, work out of state for 2 months out of each year. Just horrible, horrible things.
Wow.
But the unions struck for, I don't know, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, and prevailed. And got a good contract.
Right. Which brings us to what I think that we need to look at in this kind of juvenile justice and educational reform is we've got to bring back the whole concept of apprenticeships. There aren't any, David. There's nothing in with our apprenticeships in stone carving, furniture making. There's none of that.
There's. I told
kids.
you there's one. Well, you say kids, they got to be adults anyway, at least 18. But there's this minor amount of stuff going on. I know the Carpenters Union in New Jersey has something going on where they do take apprentice folks from the inner cities and are trying to teach them the trades. Because obviously the one thing that can't be outsourced is fixing your plumbing right now. Even medical procedures are outsourced because they actually can have a doctor from India describing what should be done during an operation because they can see everything. But when you got to fix a pipe or fix your car, it's got to be done here. It can't go overseas. So the trades should be very important. College is good; it makes you well-rounded. But getting a trade like a plumber or a carpenter or some drywaller, they're always going to be in demand. Always going to be in demand.
Yeah, but I think we can do a lot better. I think we can. I'm really in search of some of our kids learning these. Yes, you don't have. But my point is, David, you don't have to be 18 in order to start to learn the groundwork for some of these skills.
But some you do because of the equipment involved. You have to have certain licensing. And if you're going to drive, you need a CDL, which is to ensure you're tested periodically, make sure you're drug and alcohol free, especially drug free, just the bus drivers and stuff.
Right.
So, but no, it's good to get to at least have an educational component of it prior to them being able to go in.
That's my point. That is my point, David.
Tell them what is available, what's entailed, what kind of salaries involved, hours of work, what skill sets. Problem is, many of our schools, and this, you're a teacher. I majored in education, but I luckily never taught full time. What they're teaching them to take the test, and all this other garbage, they're not learning the skill sets necessary to be able to, not saying I'm generalizing, but take a city like Newark with the dropout rate and the educational levels, everything is computerized now. I mean, even the most simplest jobs of working in a factory, you've got to know how to program a computer because the computer is doing most of the work. Robots are making cars, so that's the main concern. Ever since the 50s and 60s, you had automation. Then when you opened up China, all of a sudden they made everything. It used to be Japan. Remember, it was made in Japan when it was considered cheap. Now it's China. And they come in with lead paint. My grandson, my wife gave him a little Superman doll, and I looked, of course it's made in China, but I looked it up really closely on the internet because I'm worried about lead, because they don't have the same standards as we do in terms of manufacturing.
Right.
So a pre-educational component, pre to actually going into becoming an apprentice would be absolutely wonderful.
Now, the other thing that I've learned, and it may not sound like, what does that have to do with entrepreneurship? What does that have to do? One thing that we've learned is that penmanship, cursive handwriting has, most people don't teach it anymore. And it's so key for our kids to be learning cursive handwriting because it makes more connections and synapses to the brain and more learning components. And there's a lot of research that says that. And even when you're typing your notes on the computer, there's not that many synapses, not that many connections. If you're actually handwriting your notes, there's more connections. It's amazing. And I had the lovely honor to work with a little young lady. She was 3 years old, and she was very gifted, extremely bright. Her name was Gabby Baggett, and she was absolutely incredible. And I noticed that she could read. We taught her how to read. She was well on her way, and we just cinched the deal. And she was making her letters separate. She was trying to print. And I said, and so I noticed that if she were to glide, and all of a sudden she could do this, and it was, so her thinking was better. It was faster. She could write faster. She got so good, David, that she was giving handwriting lessons at 4 years old.
Wow.
So, with that said, what I'd like to do is as I go on my journey, because the whole rehabilitation incarceration thing is a very complicated issue. It's very complex. But as I try, because I'm as green at this as this, but I'd like to come back and tell you what I'm learning and the kinds of relationships I'm building on.
Well, good. Well, you'll be back. I mean, you're tutoring now. You
Yep.
told me
Yep.
a couple days a week, and something
Yep.
else they'll let you down there.
Well, no, it's not a couple days. It's a couple days a month.
A month. Okay.
Okay, but Lisa Weathers and her staff are just wonderful there. They're very open-minded, very friendly, and
So you're bringing the kids in business model to an extent
yeah,
to this
yes, to an extent.
older population
Yes.
than normally you would have dealt with
That's
in the past.
correct.
You were dealing with
That's
younger
correct.
children.
Yes.
Well, I think there's nothing but great about it. You will come back, and you'll give us your report about how it's going. And anybody who wants to contact Kids in Business, have you still a phone set up?
You can
Or
contact me
email?
with my phone. Yes.
Well, Jerry will put that up so people
Okay.
can see it.
That's great.
Okay, and
Yeah.
with your name, Barbara G. Gertrude Weiland. I guessed that before we
Thank-
went on the air.
thank
I
you
guessed her
so,
name.
David.
That's
just
it's a beautiful name.
It's just David.
1923. It was cat's pajamas. But anyway, thank you,
so
Barbara
much, David. I
Weiland.
love you so much,
I love
David.
you too. Thank you for being our guest, and thank you for watching Labor's View. We hope to see you soon. I'm David Weiner, President Local 1081 of the Communications Workers of America and host of the show. We'll see you on shows in the future.
Voice, one that can speak for me. I have a say in my own destiny. Here on the job.